Something wrong with the net. Somebody ain't got the net. Somebody gotta pay that bill. Somebody trying to share it with their neighbor.
We have 4 minutes, tmill.
All right.
I don't care what's going down. It's in 4 minutes.
It's going down in 4 minutes.
All the way.
It's all the way live. What up, party people? Hopefully this thing will keep a connection. If not, we'll see you on the flip side.
Yep. All right, Michelle, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Here we go. If it cut, it could.
Okay.
Hopefully, y'all. What up, Pope?
Who's on there?
Dwight Pope in the building. What up, Pope? Hey, man. That video is doing great. Everybody's sharing. It's got that Dwight Pope power, man. Kamiko and
Yes.
Fly.
man.
Fly.
I went home and told my wife we're gonna book a flight somewhere just for being a woman. Like, man, I'm calling out of women. Just man.
I love it.
I ain't want to get married all over again. I love women. Oh my God. Well, the car was about to cry, man. Call every woman in my family. Grandma, I love you. I just love you. Man.
I don't know how to put it on there.
Oh.
Get that busy.
Get that busy. Pope. Man, bro, I'm still trying to figure out how to say your name. Here we go. All right. Should be good. All right.
We're good now.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all just bear with us. Hopefully the video is good.
Okay, we got 1 minute.
All right.
1 minute. Michelda, if you could text me or under the live video, put in your information in a comment that you want people to respond to, or if they're looking to connect with you, we can connect them instantly.
All right. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Welcome everyone to another edition of In Tune with T-Mill. I'm your host, T-Mill, live from the Rocket City, and you will now be encouraged and entertained. Nothing will change until you change something. We are going to change the status quo, and I'm going to tell you guys how we're going to do that. Every episode is about changing the status quo, and today we're going to talk about getting money and getting power. We're changing the status quo today by getting money and getting power. We're going to do it the legal way. We're going to keep you out of jail. And we're going to show you how to keep some sustaining money, how to generate a couple different ways of different streams of income. Your 9 to 5 shouldn't be your only income. And for those of y'all that are already doing it, great. Make sure you tune in as well. But this is going to be a series titled Get Money, Get Power. And we want to talk about, on this episode, about economic empowerment through real estate. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you can empower yourself. There's a bunch of different ways that you can generate income, that you can different streams of revenue. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. But today, we're going to be talking specifically about real estate and some of the things that we can do, some of the things that we shouldn't do, and some of the things that we may not know. All right? So we're bringing out the cheat codes today. So get your pen and paper out and get ready. I have a very special guest. She flew all the way from the world of awesomeness to be here with us today. And delighted for her to be here. She came in glowing. She knocked out her station ID in less than one take. I don't even know how you do it in less than one take, but she did it in less than one take. And our special guest is a serial entrepreneur, author, strategist, philanthropist, and innovator. Also, I want you guys to make sure you check out waterwalker.com. Miss Michelda is in the building, In Tune with T-Mill. How you doing?
I am awesome. What is going on? T-Mill, I'm so glad to be here. I don't know what to do.
I know what to do. We're going to have a party. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have
That's
a party. We're going to talk, and we're going to empower people. We're going to empower each other, you know?
And that's what it's all about, is finding ways to make sure that we are not only doing our part, but we are pressing upon others to get out of bed, get out of their sofa of comfort and ease, and get up and do something.
That's what I'm talking about. You heard her. Get up, get out, and get something, man. Word up to
and get money.
And get money, yeah. Get something, yeah. Get money. Get something, get some money. And of course, I could not do this show alone, you guys. I do have the power of the crew with me. Mr. Marcus Sims, also Vonda, and of course, In Tune with T-Mill is powered by the Maitland Conservatory, produced by Sunshine Enterprises. Miss JQ is in the building. If you guys are watching the live video, you're going to see her all around making just everything happen, man. Making all this good stuff happen, y'all. So, we're going to talk about economic empowerment. Now, well, first, before we even get to that, when I saw the word, now, I like to think like a 5-year-old sometimes. People got to break things down to me. And I saw the word serial entrepreneur. And for whatever reason, I started thinking about Law and Order. And I started thinking about, I don't know, maybe an episode where someone was just, I don't know, they just made up a bunch of businesses, or they were just knocking down businesses. They were a mogul. So what is a serial entrepreneur? Because in my mind, it's something completely different. I want to make sure that I got it correct, and I want other people to know what is a serial entrepreneur.
Well, you probably got it just absolutely correct. I have been in business for myself since 1999. Started almost as a fluke. I mean, I just had an epiphany one day and said, I can do that, and did it. But serial entrepreneur means that over the years, since that period, I have started and sold multiple businesses in multiple avenues with multiple streams of income.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what it's about. Multiple. So you think serial, that is somebody who is constantly starting, and hopefully, and you know, we hope that if they're starting, they're selling them, if they're selling them with a profit, or they have several businesses that are operating that are keeping them at a profitable status.
Okay, cool. Because there may have been someone out there like me that thought serial entrepreneur and said, I eat a lot of cereal. I could be an entrepreneur. I could make some. I want to know how to make my own cereal. I want to be an entrepreneur like that. So that's good that we cleared that up. All right. I love cereal, if you guys can't tell. All right. Now, and also with starting and selling those businesses, for why would one sell a business? You know, if you're making money, what would be the purpose in selling it? You know, and then starting a new one. Does that mean that you failed at it, or what does that mean?
Well, it depends on where you are in the life cycle of that business. I get that question a lot, especially when we have discussions about edible arrangements and why did I sell it. I think for most people,
you should have bought some of those today.
I don't own it anymore. I sold it.
We got to call them up. No, go ahead.
You have to understand the life cycle of your business. I always tell my entrepreneurs, when you start a business, always have an exit plan. If you're starting a business without an exit plan, then sometimes when things happen, you won't know how to get out of it or what to do or whatever. And so I think there are a lot of different reasons why you would sell a business. I feel like, and I mentioned this earlier, that sometimes starting businesses and what we do is like monopoly to me. It's the thrill of the game and the hustle. And so it really just depends on where you are. In both situations, 3 now that I've sold, it's been for a profit. So no, the businesses were doing great. In fact, the edible arrangement store, we were number 2. We alternated between number 1 in the state and number 2 in the state. Good position to be in. We were in the top 20th, top quartile nationwide of edible arrangements franchisees. But for me, it was a good time to move on. And you combine that with an offer that says, wow, it's a great time to move on.
Right.
So you just weigh it out, and then you decide. And if you're smart, you already know where those funds are going, and you're using them to reinvest into another business opportunity, or to go into a different direction, or to split it off into several business opportunities. I mean, you got to have a plan, I think, with what you're going to do with the funds. So do you just sell the business and say, I've cashed out and that's it? No. A serial entrepreneur says, I've sold the business. Now what's next? And then you move forward in those different areas and avenues.
Wow, wow. So for those of y'all that are out there with your business, if you don't have that exit plan, or if you don't have the B, C, D, and E plan, and not to say that it won't, that you're thinking of that because it's going to fail. You're thinking of it because, again, you're as you said, in waves, or seeing what's next to come, because there is going to be a next that's inevitable, and you want to make sure that you're ready for that, or ready to expand and ready to move on to another portion of your business. So that may be something to think about, you guys. If you got your business and there's 1,000 different ways that you can do it, you can grow bigger, or you can go into a different facet of a different element of that business. Instead of doing edible arrangements, you may want to go into just arrangements that you can't eat. So that may be another thing that you do.
Right.
And so that may be something to think about. And so talking about real estate, what is, when we think about real estate, we think about buying and selling homes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a person like myself, I had to learn that there are a lot of different areas of real estate. So it's not just, buying and selling homes, but that is also, we're talking about empowerment, how to get money and be empowered. So I think, and I could be wrong, let me know, if home ownership, not only is it, something good and something, wholesome and something to encourage you and something to, have to sustain your life, but it's also maybe a form of building wealth or passing down wealth, so to speak. So what do you, is that, would you say that's true, or how can people, use real estate, in that sense?
Absolutely, it's true. And I've seen that even in my own family. Several of the homes that I've acquired have been because they have been passed down through the generations of my family. And so at least 2 of the homes were built by my great-grandfathers.
Wow.
And
Shout out
so,
to the great-grandfather. Yes. Some of y'all can't build something to last tomorrow.
Yes. And so, and I do appreciate the fact that my family wanted to keep it in the family and not sell it outside of the family. But listen, here's what needs to happen. I always talk about I always talk about this thing where we have to know how to make a sacrifice today for long-term gain. Short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. And so many of us are not willing to make the short-term sacrifice. I was speaking to a young lady this week, one of my mentees, in fact, and she has this goal to be a homeowner in the next year. That's great. What are you doing?
Right.
Are you saving? Are you putting back the money? And so sometimes what tends to happen is we're not ready when opportunities come, and some of the best opportunities that give you the opportunity for it's just passive income, which is the best kind of income. Let me just say the best money I ever made was mailbox money. And that's when I went to my mailbox and a check was there. That is the best money I have ever made. I still make mailbox money. I love mailbox money because I can go to sleep and I know my money is going to be in my mailbox. And so what we have to learn is, how do we build passive income so that you can jet off to Hawaii, but you still got income coming in. Real estate gives you the single most viable way to have passive income. It also gives you the single most viable way to start building a legacy for your family and for your children, so that you have something to pass down to them. And so I'm just a big believer. As you got me all excited.
I told you we're going to have a party today. You came in tired. We're going to have a party. I hope,
That is the single most best way. And so we have to know what to do. One of the things that has been somewhat disappointing to me is, especially as we talk about the Huntsville market and some of the things that have been happening North Huntsville specifically. Since 2009, I have been preaching and teaching ad nauseum economic development and empowerment, entrepreneurship, how to get there, short-term sacrifice, don't eat your seed, put money back, do the things that you need to do. During this period of time, if people are not aware, we were not hit as hard by the decline in the housing market, but North Huntsville was hit to the point that homes were being sold for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. My question to the listening audience today is, how many of you captured any of those homes?
Let me check this. Let me get this mic a little bit closer.
Because nobody heard me, did they? They didn't hear me.
No, they didn't say it.
They heard
I want them
me.
to hear you crystal.
They heard you.
Crystal clear.
How many captured some of the homes that were for sale for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? How many of you have captured the homes? If you're looking for passive income and you let this current market pass you by, because now we're at a point where real estate in North Huntsville is now taking an increase. The property values are going up now, but they had depressed the homes and the property value so low that we should have, if we weren't taking advantage of that, because now they're going to start to go up. Now, here's what I do know.
And somebody's taking advantage of that. And talk about the disadvantage of not taking advantage of that. What is the disadvantage of not, for someone to come in while they're low, and if we don't get it while it's low, somebody's definitely going to come get 2, 3, 4, 12 of them. Say, yo, y'all ain't getting this for 20? All right, I'm going to buy 5 of them for 20, and I'm going to do what I want to do with them.
5?
No, more like 20, a whole subdivision.
We have lost our community. I know investors who own in their investment block over 80 to 100 homes in North Huntsville.
Wow.
I know investors, and I know at least 3 or 4 of them that I can pick up the phone and call today. In fact, when I have a home that I know is going to be at an investor's rate, I call them and say, are you interested in this home? We've lost our community to some degree. I don't know about you, but if you drive through North Huntsville, how many times do you see the signs that say on every corner, we'll buy your home for cash?
Yep, for cash.
For cash, no matter the condition, no matter what happened, every corner.
Every
and
corner.
They are doing it. Not only because I own several homes in North Huntsville, not only are they putting the signs on the streets, but they are sending postcards to the because I get a postcard for every house that I own that says, I want to buy your house, give me a call.
Yep.
And you know what? They put them, and maybe it's just me, but, and again, to each his own, because, I mean, there's a good, and there's always a good and bad, but some of the signs, they seem to be on the corner of the daycare. So when you're picking up your kid and you're thinking about all the bills you got, okay, I can sell my home. They put it on the corner of Walmart. You're going to spend all that money. Man, I need some money. I got to go buy this. Or the car lot. Or the liquor store. Or some of these places where it's like, oh, I do need to sell my house for some cash. So what would you say is the good and the opportunity with doing that? To where someone may feel like, you know what, I do need some cash. I do need to sell my home. But going through that program or calling one of those 800 numbers or one of those numbers, what would you say is one of the good and opportunities of that? Because I won't say bad, I'll say an opportunity.
Well, okay, so I guess it depends on, and so there's no blanket answer for that. Everybody finds themselves in a different situation. The disappointing ones to me are, and I literally had a family member to do this, is when you allow your home to be foreclosed on for pennies. So now you got to understand, when you reach a certain bracket, your idea of pennies and my idea of pennies may be different. So I get that. What I'm saying is pennies may have been a mountain to that individual.
But again, we're talking about long term.
But we're talking long term. So you're $2,200 in the hole, and you letting your house go.
Man, come on.
Call your cousin who got it, and you know they got it, and let them bail you out. You know what I mean? Let them help you so that you can hold on to that investment.
Get some beans and rice for a couple months.
Exactly. And so, so really, like I said, I don't want to put a blanket answer out there, but I do want to say it really depends on your situation. Yes, there are times when you just gotta go. and it makes sense for you and your family. But when you've got an opportunity to hold on to it, try and hold on to it.
Yeah, which most of the time you do. Because I think, you know, sometimes, and especially if we're young, we panic. Oh my God, you know, I think we think about what's going to happen, or we think about the ramifications, or we just get scared for lack of a better. And 9 times out of 10 we get scared because we don't know. Yeah. So if we know, or just at least ask, and to call someone, hey, you know, before I go and do this, what do you think?
Stop, because that's the key. It's the ego that stops us from calling and asking, because we're embarrassed. I tell folks, I don't have an ego. I just don't operate in ego mode, ego status. I'm a wide open book. If I want to know something, I'm going to ask.
Right.
But not everybody is like that. So what do you find that they do? People hide away. They pretend. You know, how's everything going? Oh, praise the Lord. You know, I'm blessed and highly favored.
Right.
You know, and you're about to lose your home, and you won't ever say anything. I can't help you with, what do they say, closed mouth
don't get fed.
Yep. You ain't getting no cereal.
All right, we're going to go.
So that's what I'm talking about. And if you guys are watching live on Facebook, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat room. We will get them to Michelle to ask these questions. Take us to task, ask challenging questions, engage, and share some of your stories. Definitely share your stories of if this is something that you can relate to, or something that you've learned from, no matter where you're listening from. If you're listening to us right here on the podcast or watching on Facebook Live, share some of your insight. Share some of your stories. Because here's the thing, y'all leave comments on Facebook videos of cats jumping off the roof and falling into somebody's pool, you know, or whatever, and y'all leave 1,000 comments of what you don't like, but, you know, leave some of those comments to empower somebody, to tell somebody, yo, this is what I went through, or this is why you should do this, or this is what my bank account looked like after I ate beans and rice for 8 months, you know. Here's the other thing, and I tell people this because I'm telling you this, but I do this all the time. I'm not scared to tell my kids no. I'm not scared to tell the wife no. Now, in my mind, I might be scared, but I'm not scared to say no. But I say that because a lot of times we feel pressured. Christmas time is coming around. Oh, I got to go get gifts. Oh, I got to go do this. Oh, I got to buy this. Or birthdays are coming around. I got to do this. I got to do that. The wife's anniversary is coming around. Oh, man, I got to go take her out. I got to do this. Instead of sitting down and saying, look, all right, I know your birthday coming around. I know Christmas is coming around, but how about this? Ain't going to be no Christmas if we ain't got no roof. So let me ask you, do you want some toys or do you want a roof? Now, if you let me keep a roof, then we can have Christmas next year. You know, and to give a compromise and say, look, if you let me do this and we eat beans and rice for 4 or 5 weeks, I'll go get some beans and rice and chicken next week. Just let me do this beans and rice for a couple of weeks, you know, so we can get back on our feet and not be afraid to make those cutbacks. But I think a lot of times we let, again, like you said, letting that ego get in the way. So for those that are pushing that ego to the side and that are looking for help, that are looking for answers, that want to start to build that wealth, to pass down wealth, to you know, what are some of the things that, well, I say this, for those first-time home buyers, you know, people that they want to get out of the house, they want to get out of their mama house, or they want to get out of their boyfriend house, girlfriend house, whatever. What are some of the things that people need to look for before buying a home? Because I think sometimes we jump out there and we don't know, or we get that government check or stimulus or whatever, we just go out and buy whatever. What are some of the things people need before going to buy a home, like, to make sure that they're ready?
Yeah, let me go back though and address one thing you said, because I think it's really important. You and your spouse should have open, clear discussions on money and finances. In fact, money is the #1 reason that couples get divorced, and you're not talking about it. So that needs to be the #1 thing, is to make sure you have an understanding as a family on where we stand on budgeting, financing, financial goals. You should have set financial goals for your household at the beginning of this year, and both of you need to be on the same page in reaching those goals. You hold each other accountable to that, and that is critical, and it will make a difference in your lifestyle and in the lifestyle of your family if y'all get on the same page as it relates to your financial goals. Now, first-time home buyers, what should I do? What should I start? you should pull your credit report. You absolutely need to know what your credit score is and what are your barriers to getting financing for your home. You need to be very proactive in looking at your credit report and trying to clear those things up that are on your credit that may stop you from getting a home. I know Credit Karma is out there, and there's a lot of free resources out there. That's great. There's no excuse, but even beyond that, you are permitted one free credit report per year from each of the 3 credit reporting agencies.
Because a lot of people think that there's just one. So say that again.
Yes, you are permitted one from each of the agencies. So you have Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Equifax is the most conservative and will probably in most cases be your lowest score. TransUnion tends to be less conservative and will probably be your highest score, and Experian sits somewhere in the middle. Okay. You need to look at all 3 of them. It's not enough to look at one of them. Now, if you're using your free credit report and you've got a 12 to 18 month goal in financing a home, start with Equifax, because that one is the one that'll probably take a little bit longer to bring the score up on. Look at that report. First quarter, second quarter, pull your Experian, third quarter, pull your TransUnion. Now, you can pay to get all 3 of them. You can pay to get your credit scores. Let me talk a little bit about credit scores. The credit scores that you see are probably not the same. In fact, I know they're not the same that a creditor will see as it relates to a real estate loan. Wow. A lot of times we see the Vanguard scores that are a little bit higher than what someone with the loan lenders will see from the real estate market or the real estate side. Wow. So you want to have that in mind and make sure you are above the threshold. Now, what is above the threshold? You need a minimum of a 640 to I know some lenders out there, they'll say they'll do it at 620 and you got to jump through a lot of hoops. Listen, let's just get it above 640 so that we don't have the hassle and the headache of having to do a whole lot. I mean, get it to 660 and my life is great. But you really want to be at a minimum of a 640. Start working your credit. So yes, you can buy and go and talk to credit companies, credit repair companies. Mixed feelings about those. I won't lead you either way on that. But here's what I'd recommend that you do. I did this many moons ago. If you've got things that are delinquent on your credit report and bills you haven't paid in ages and it's still showing with a balance, call your creditor. If it's beyond a certain period, usually depends on the lender, but usually if it's beyond, if you haven't made any payments in a 12-month cycle, then usually they have written off that debt anyway. If the debt has been written off, then anything you pay them is a positive margin to their bottom line. So they're just happy to get, in most cases, anything you give them. Right. So call them. If you owe them $1,000, ask them if you can give them, start with 25 cents on the dollar, okay? If they don't agree with that, be prepared to go up to 50 cents on the dollar. So be prepared to say, listen, if I send you $500 today, you got income tax money in. This is the time to start looking at that and making these key decisions. Listen, I know you want a pair of shoes, but those shoes aren't going anywhere. Right. And you will have worn out those shoes and still, you know, the interesting thing to me is I've seen people let their houses go, but keep the bad car. We have got to really reverse our principles on what we're thinking. A home, in most cases, property, real estate, land, appreciates. But a car, the moment you drive it off the lot, depreciates by about 30%, and you will never get the value. I'm not saying don't drive anything nice. I like my car, but I will never let my car take the place of my home. Okay? Now, let me just say, because I don't want to beat people up. Sometimes it may be in your best interest to rent, or you may make a personal decision that for you renting is what you want to do. I'm not knocking that. I had years where I rented, but I had investment property. Okay? May not make sense, but it was the best situation for me at that particular time for a variety of reasons.
Because everybody doesn't have to go out and buy a house. I mean, you can get an apartment or you can rent a home, you know, to make sure that you can afford this. Again, to think 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. And not just, oh, I got a family, I got to buy a house. No, you don't. You know, you can rent for right now until, you know, you're able to do it.
Until you're building. And so here's the thing. Pull your credit. Start systematically working on one or two things on that credit report. Working on those things to get them paid off, to get yourself in a better position. Does it require sacrifice? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
How about you stop eating out? I'm sorry, I'm guilty. But if we would really, so my question then is, how many of you have a monthly budget? You have to have a monthly budget and be committed to following that budget in order to see the income, the money in the bank that you desire. If you're not willing to do that, you won't be able to start building your wealth.
And it's something, you know, you mentioned monthly budget, and this is something that I did that helped me see the long-term effects of it, and something that I would highly recommend to everyone to just do at least one time. And so I sat down with my mentor, and we sat down and he showed me a plan, and everything that I'm spending, everything that I'm bringing in, and he said, okay, this is where you're going to, if you keep doing everything that you're doing right now, this is where you're going to be in a year. Wasn't that bad. It was like, all right, cool, whatever. This is where you're going to be next year. This is where you're going to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. When it started to get 3, 5, 6 years down the road, it was a little dark. It was a little grim. It was like, man. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, man, yeah, I'll get an extra check, or I'll get an extra job, or I'll get this and I'll get that. But if we are to be honest with ourselves and look at the big picture, and we keep doing what we're doing now, if that's going to put us in a great position in 5, 10 years, great. Keep doing it. Do more of it. But if we look at and be honest with ourselves, if I keep doing this for the next year or 2, 3, 4 years, where am I going to be at? It's a little scary, but it should help us, you know, by seeing that budget. And that's what budgets are for, to make sure that every dollar's got a name to it and that we're not eating out. Because let's be honest, it costs less, you know, to eat at home. All the stuff that we buy, we can cook it at home easily. You know, we can do it all at home. We can get probably better food, you know, by just doing it at home or whatever. And then to be honest, I mean, how great is it? You know, you go to the same spot. You know, it ain't changed. It don't taste any better than it did last week.
That's right.
It doesn't. The price definitely didn't go down. So food doesn't go on sale. You know, you don't get a McDonald's meal that goes on sale one week. So, I'm gonna save money this week because the same one I get is on half price. No, it's the same price, same food, same garbage. So, one thing I wanted to ask as well. Are there, and again, you guys, we're talking to Michelle about economic empowerment, and we're talking about getting money and getting power, and we're talking about ways to do that. So if you guys have any questions, what's going on, everybody? If we got people looking in, if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in wherever you're listening, iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, all the different places, wherever you're listening at. Please write those questions down, and we will be sure to get them to her. Are there any, and again, someone asks, I guess I'll get what they're saying, but I'll read it as they wrote it. Are there any financial or tax benefits to owning or renting a home? So, okay, yeah, so what are, tax benefits, I guess, to home ownership?
Absolutely, there are tax benefits. I mean, you get to write off some things that are associated with your home that if you're renting, you don't have those write-offs. And so,
write-off means you get it back, y'all.
Right.
So don't be scared to spend it. You can get it back.
Yes, so obviously, yes, there are some tax benefits to owning a home that you cannot have when you're renting, unless
or if you have a property that you're renting to someone, you know, that is that the case, or is that?
No. I mean, if you have a property that you're living in that is your primary residence, then there are some tax benefits. There are some tax benefits for owning a home. It's just in a different bucket and set up in a different way.
I'm just making sure I get that question answered the right way.
So now let me just say this though: if you are renting, Here's what I advise people that are renting is, especially if you have, because I don't want to miss the multiple streams of income conversation either.
Absolutely.
So if you are renting and you have a business, then you can write off a portion of that rent as a home office expense. And so, depending upon where you are as a listener, if you're selling Mary Kay and you're doing facials in your dining room and you've got your dining room set up for display, even though you are renting, you do have a home-based business write-off that you can take from that rental property.
Wow. And then real quick, because we got to wrap it up, and but I want to, two things. One, we got a special giveaway. Let's tell everyone about this giveaway that we're doing. Because you came with some gifts. You came with not one, but you came with a couple of them. So tell them about the gifts.
I wrote a book called Water Walker 101, and my mission is to literally capsize your boat. I want to get you out of your seat of comfort. I want to get you out of a place of conformity. I want to see you prosper. One of the things that I found is that many folks don't have people who will push them. I'm not trying to compete with you. I want you to get everything that you're supposed to get. And if I can help you get there, that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I have a group of mentees that I work with. I literally want to see them get every single thing. Nothing left on the table. No crumbs left on the floor. I mean, we want all of it. I want to see you. I am very passionate about people and them walking into their purpose, their destiny, being successful, building wealth, and understanding the principles that wealth is not just for you, your four, and no more. Wealth is for you and the community and to spread it abroad. And the more you give, the more it just overtakes you and flows back to you. So I wrote this book called Water Walker 101. It's about stepping out of the boat. It's about taking risks and chances. It's about stop the waiting process and do something.
Yeah.
I mean something. And guess what? You might fail at it, and that's okay. They may tell you no, and that's okay. You will get a yes if you keep pushing, keep pressing, and you keep moving forward. Whatever you do, do not stop. So I've got 2 copies of Water Walker 101, and then I have a anthology that I wrote with several other amazing authors called My Now for the Single Parent.
Y'all, they got some teddy bears on the front.
They got teddy bears on the front. And one of mine was about defining moments. That is what my chapter is about. And it's about we all reach those defining moments when life happens. And the question is, what will you do? Mine was a divorce. But I started my business in the middle of a divorce. And we moved forward. I went cold turkey, built it from scratch, and sold it to a Fortune 100 company. You can do it if you do not stop.
Yo, man, I'm telling y'all, Michelle is on it. I don't know how you guys could be sitting down. Somebody's up right now, like just they know what they're gonna do. Somebody right now. Do it right now and tell her about it. Do it right now and tell her about it. I would be so excited if someone were to listen to this show and from just anything that you've shared with them, just I don't care if it was 3 words, just something that helped them get through or something that helped them get along and get started. So you guys, we are in tune with tmill. Thank you guys for watching. We are live at the Maitland Conservatory with Michelda, and she brought us some gifts for the giveaways. You guys will, I'll tell you guys how to register for those. You will be registering at the Maitland Conservatory. To get those, you can either register online or just ask us in the comments how to register, and we'll get you signed up for those giveaways. All right? The Maitland Conservatory is right here in the Huntsville, Alabama area, right here in the Rocket City, and you guys should definitely come by and check it out. We are powered by the Maitland Conservatory, maitlandconservatory.org. All right? They strive to bring inner talents to fruition. The Maitland Conservatory is a community-based contemporary arts education entity designed to give students hands-on training and experience in areas such as music production, contemporary instrumental training, vocal coaching, leadership, and much more. And if you're watching the Messiah Wars on YouTube, because you should be watching the Messiah Wars on YouTube, it's an Afro-futuristic sci-fi adventure with action and drama and biblical, spiritual gifts. Put it like this. It's a bunch of kids like the X-Men that's got powers from God and they fighting evil. So make sure you go to YouTube and go to Messiah Wars. It is scored right here in the Maitland Conservatory. So the music that you hear, the sound effects, the cool music, the music that makes you feel sad, the music that makes you feel great, makes you feel in love, and that might scare the heck out of you, it's made right here in the Maitland Conservatory. They're teaching kids how to score films. I don't know what I was doing at 8 years old. I wasn't doing that. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And make sure you drop those questions right here in the chat room. Again, I want to thank you, Michelle, for stopping by with us. And tell everyone how they can get in contact with you one more time.
Thank you for having me. info@waterwalker.com. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You name it, I am there. I'm Michelle, the Water Walker.
That's what I'm talking about, all right? In Tune with T-Mill. We out.
We out.
So stay tuned. We're going to you guys on live. We have our next guest coming in, and we'll hit you back in about 5 minutes.
That was incredible. Man, you off the hook.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, we get around
Hey,
here.
David, do you know
man,
Miss
thank
Walker?
you.
Yes,
That was
sir.
awesome.
Yes,
Shelby
sir.
Johnson.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Supported y'all's
See you
last
again.
disciple.
I did.
Big
I
time.
did.
Yeah.
Yes. I sure did.
Let's get a quick
And then
picture.
you guys-
and
Yes, I'm gonna
you
get a
guys
picture.
don't
And
go
he's only
nowhere.
got
We'll be
like-
right back.
He's only got like 15 minutes.
Okay,
Amazing. Just absolutely wonderful.
1, 2, 3, right there, please.
Did an
In a
amazing
photo.
job.
Everybody in it. Everybody.
Oh, Michelle.
What up, genius? You get in here too.
I
Come
was
on,
just going to
man.
say, Jurian, can you please come over? Jurian?
Yo, they're like he a visitor, like he ain't been here before. He's just looking around.
Just bring it.
And thank you so much. Doesn't matter who gets in the middle or not, I'm going to have you change
pictures,
4
okay.
times. So imagine yourself changing in 4 different spaces. Are you ready? And this is
I
number
can't even do
1.
one space.
1, 2, go. Now change your spaces.
Musical
Yeah.
chairs.
Doesn't matter which one. Yeah. 5, 6, and go. Now change your space last time.
Change space. What
This
was
time
that?
you're
Oh,
gonna This time you're gonna sell yourself. Yes, you're gonna sell yourself. You're whatever you want people to notice about you. Ready
That's the only way I
and
made it through college.
I'm prepared. It's my phone and my charger.
go.
I love
Thank you so much.
What I got going on?
Right.
What you want me to do? Tim and Michelle, just you two
Yeah,
together
yeah.
once, please. 2, 3, and one more, please.
That's some charge.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
It was great having you.
Thank you for having me. All right. Y'all have
Awesome.
good. Have fun. Uh-oh.
What up? What up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
You're welcome.
Oh, Lord, have mercy on my soul.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay, 1 second. Excuse me, guys. I'm setting up for the live video here. Timothy, you're going to have to scoot in a little bit. Your mic's going to have
Oh,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
in.
I don't even need to do it.
Yeah, are you saying you said you could only do 15 minutes, so you may as well just sit and stay, right?
In the video, my ears
All
not
of this
good.
is just going to be live right here for us.
Stop.
Hi, guys.
Man, what y'all up to today, man?
Car trouble.
Ah.
That's what I'm
Oh, that's why he's
Yeah.
in a rush.
What's wrong with you, Will, man?
I don't know, man. We went to Atlanta
Yeah.
Tim,
and
I need you to scoot around and put your mic right here in the middle.
we was getting ready to go to Atlanta this past weekend.
Yeah.
And
It's popping up.
trying to find, like a rental car or whatever, cause we were going. And then I wasn't gonna go. And then
Yeah.
I decided to go at the last minute or whatever. And then we drove a drain down there, and we get back, and, safely. And I was a little worried about it, but we just kind of like going for broke. Literally.
Right.
But so we get back or whatever, and then we it went and go whatever. job about that. You know.
Okay, we're live.
But, you know, good thing, you know, we would have either had to end up taking it anyways, or would have, you know what I'm saying, could have had issues with it, you know, being down there. So.
And 5.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
And go.
all right, guys, what's happening? I'm in the building with some more geniuses. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go get this interview going. So you guys get to see 2 interviews today. 2. Those. How you say it in French? I don't know. I used to. Yeah. Voulez-vous coucher avec something? Un, deux, yeah. Deux. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, something.
He's so
I learned French at ASFL, and I still don't
I
remember.
took French at Johnson.
Hey.
I took French at Johnson too, but man, football, I guess to get knocked out of me or something. Like all that French out of me. All I know is bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment allez-vous? Je suis bien.
And bien.
Muy bien.
I wanted to be Pepe Le
That's
Pew.
German.
That's the only reason I wanted to learn
Bien's
French.
German.
Bien's French too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
You right.
Yeah, the skunk
It's like
pimp.
C can be said in different languages.
You right about that. You're so right. They don't always mean the same thing. C and C. C and C. All kinds of C's. C, C, C. C, 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 C. C, C.
I want to say C is C senor. People get in trouble in Spanish
Yeah.
for saying CC senor. People want to say CC.
CC.
It's like you know, you remember all that?
Yeah,
With,
yeah.
with Kel, and he used to play the little
He did.
chocolate. He used to be like in the bathtub.
Yeah.
With the rubber ducky. It was like,
Oh, the other one, not the big dude, the smaller dude. Yeah.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Let me get you a mic check. We're going to be here.
Mic check 1, 2, 1. What is this?
All right.
Y'all supposed to finish?
Okay. I forgot it. Got it.
Oh, the chair.
Yeah.
1, 2, what is this?
Yeah.
Mic check 1, 2. What is this?
Man, somebody kill me because I'm so
Yeah, it's called quiz trivia.
Yes.
Mic
tell
check
y'all.
1, 2. What is this?
Y'all gonna kill me, man.
What
It
is
took
that?
me years to get in, not years, but I don't know where I was when the trial was going on.
I don't even know.
I was all over the West Coast.
I am not even on that level. Nowhere close.
So
Hey,
here
you
we
play
go,
the beat, I
guys.
might know it.
So we are. All right. So to begin the show, we'll do a audio. We'll do a station ID, and so just introduce yourself. Tell everyone, both of y'all, introduce yourself. Tell everyone where you are, and then you say you're in tune with tmill, or we're in tune with tmill, whatever. All right. And whenever you're ready.
What's up? It's the Isabel Brothers, and we in Maitland Conservatory right now, and we in tune with tmill.
All right. Let me get it one more time to get it kind of
in the mic.
Yeah.
Should I turn it or just?
Yeah, you can. Just however you want. You
Okay.
know. There you go. Better.
All right.
All right.
What's up? It's the Isabel Brothers. We in Maitland Conservatory.
Yep.
And we in tune with tmill.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of In Tune with tmill. You will now be encouraged and entertained. Nothing will change until you change something. We're going to change the status quo today. You guys that are watching live are in for a treat because y'all get to watch both episodes 2 times. Those 2 episodes back to back right here on In Tune with tmill, live at the Maitland Conservatory. And our guests, we are in the building with the Isabel Brothers. All right? You know what I'm saying? If I had the squad with me, they'd be doing some hand claps, but I'm going to put all that in. You know, there we go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some Arsenio Hall fix, you know. And today we're going to be talking about, this is the Get Money, Get Power series. We're talking about economic empowerment. And on this side of the show, we're talking about black awareness. And I know when y'all hear that word, you may be thinking a whole lot, you know, but David and I have been talking about doing this episode for the fact that we want people to not be woke and all this. You sleeping, you got to know this and you got to know that, but to really start to be proud of ourselves, the things that we're doing, the abilities that we have. So I had to bring in a professional because I can't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I need some help with this, you guys. So welcome, guys. How you doing? All right. And to talk about empowerment, you know what I'm saying? What you guys are doing is empowering, and it's a great example for kids. I don't care what color they are to do something and follow their dreams. So we're talking about Black awareness, and again, I specifically wanted. Let me tell you guys something. I wanted to do this outside of February. I wanted to, cause
after February.
Yeah, I specifically waited until after, because when we were booking the show, I was looking at the dates and I was looking at the calendar, and I said, okay, yeah, I can book them in Black History Month. So I'm gonna tell David, yeah, come Black History Month. Then I thought about it, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do it in Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? One, is too cliche, and then two, maybe we should be worried about Black awareness every month. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Black History Month.
Definitely something we should have on 24/7.
Yeah, so David, one, you're very passionate, very encouraging. You got a light, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember The Last Dragon, you know what I'm saying, with the glow. You know what I'm saying? You guys got when you meet people that have that aura, of just positivity, when you come around them, and you know what I'm saying, you guys have that. Y'all don't walk around with chips on your shoulders. If you do, you eat them or you put them away. You don't see them. Right? If you got chips on your shoulder, you just eat them up. But Black awareness, just that word, and I know what it means, but to you, what does that mean?
Black awareness, to me, I would say Black awareness is to care and to put in the forefront of everything that you do. The need to feel good about yourself, and that's and I say that in a vague way on purpose because a lot of us are mixed with different things, have different backgrounds, and we gravitate towards different cultures. But Black awareness means to whatever Black means to you, to be proud of that and to embrace that, and that can be a hard thing to do as we define Black daily, so it seems. And that irritates me a little bit because me and Duran and our sister Kim were discussing Black just on the way back from Atlanta last night. Discussing Black. And it's just, even that is difficult, and it pains me a little bit as you see me speak out a lot of times publicly because it seems that everybody else has a pretty defined
it's like they can
definition of what we know what Asian is, or we accept it. We know what in kind of in a way what white is, but Black is just like out there and just like it's up for debate. It's up to be to be built up and torn down, with no kind of buffer, like nothing is really concrete for any of us, our children, or any of us, growing to.
And it may be for us, but not for for the public or for the mass, just every other race, where everybody agrees that this is Black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. To us, we may agree, but to everybody else, like,
Right. And we try. I mean, we've tried in the past to try and do that with stuff like Soul Train. We try and get a Black identity.
You seen the new Sports Center commercial?
About.
All right, let me tell y'all what they did with the Sports Center commercial. You guys got it, because I have to cut you off, but this is why I said this. So the Sports Center commercial, they got a new show at 6. It's Jamel Hill and Michael somebody. Yeah. But what they did was they took first of all, they got a budget. So somebody gave them a budget for this show because their commercials are off the hook right now for this Sports Center show. So what they did with this next one is they recreated the different world opening intro. And they, included all the characters in there, and some of the older characters. They didn't have Kadeem Hardison. They didn't have a boy in there, so y'all must ain't had a whole lot of money,
the Kadeem money. Y'all gonna have to give me.
They had the Kadeem money, but they had everybody else in there, and it felt good because my son asked me. He was like, when I said, "Oh man, that's me and my wife," I was like, "Oh, that's the different world." She's like, "Oh yeah." And so he asked me, "What's the different world?" And I had to explain to him, all right, go to Netflix. I'm gonna put you on game, but again, that's why I brought that up, because again, that's a good thing.
Identity, Black identity, and Black identity is it pains me, like I said, because it's kind of like trying to build a house, but every time you put up 2 bricks, you take down 2 bricks. You know, after a while, you're gonna get frustrated. But like, why I don't have a house yet? You know, and that to me is black identity. Is I'm trying to I personally search and try to find. You know, I search my spirit and my in what I see to try and find. Well, if I can just get one brick, what can I lay one brick down? You know, can I get a brick here, get a brick there? You know what I'm saying? And it just for us, for every time we tend to build bricks, is like us ourselves as black people tend to like question those bricks or like take them down and try to twist them around, and it's like we do a lot of.
Where you get them bricks from?
Yeah, we kind of do a lot of micromanaging. What with trying to all we trying to do is build a house, and you look next door at the Asian house, you look next door at the the Caucasian house or the the Indian house or Hispanic house, and everybody got a house, and it's like, well, we don't have one, and a lot of times because we can't seem to put down bricks.
Or we want to live in somebody else's house.
Or we want to live in somebody.
I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, how long
Say that again.
When you put this, put it like that. Have we been building a house for about 40 years now, 40, 50 something years, or the same house that we've been trying to build? We might have had one, with Black Wall Street and.
Attempting to build one. Definitely attempting to build one, but that's significant that you say that, because when we look back historically, which a lot of times we don't like to do, we look back all the way back to slavery and Willie Lynch, which we are very, passionate about putting that information out there.
Shout out to Ben Carson, because he don't say slaves, he say immigrants.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother.
When we look back to something that when we talk about slavery, we often don't talk about Willie Lynch. You know what I'm saying? Along with slavery. And Willie Lynch was essential in our enslavement, because I can't speak for other people who've been enslaved in history, but I don't know if they had psychological, kind of brainwashing that was a part of that. Right. And Willie Lynch was definitely a part of that brainwashing that kind of teaches us not to want a house, to depend on Master's house, and to embrace confusion and get used to confusion and facilitate confusion. And to this day, even he said this will work, for a long time.
To this day.
And to this day, that's where we at with it. And a lot of times we don't see that. We can't. I don't know. It's good. Like, it's good. That's kind of like Frankenstein. What's the guy who's trying to get Frankenstein?
It's Dr. Frankenstein.
Dr.
Frankenstein is
Frankenstein.
actually the monster.
Where he's
his name. He was
Dr.
Dr. Frankenstein.
The doctor,
monster.
I just know Eeyore. Like I know Eeyore. And then with the doctor is just like. Yeah. It's like some Dr. Frankenstein type stuff. You creating a monster, and like the monster don't know it's a monster. It's just up and alive, and it's just like out of control. And that's kind of how we are. You talking about black awareness. That's why it's important to me just to try to. I see it. Sometimes I'm alone in seeing it, but I try and embrace the different visions and the different input, because all that's important too.
And for those of y'all that because he mentioned Willie Lynch, you guys can go and look it up. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's the Willie Lynch letter. You guys can check it out. How to make a slave. And if you read that in its entirety, all right. First of all, it ain't gonna take you but 5 minutes, because some of y'all gonna see that it's more than 2 paragraphs, and I'll read this later. It ain't gonna take you 5 minutes to read it, all right. Some of y'all's Instagram posts are longer than that, and Facebook posts are longer than that. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Text messages. So read it in its entirety.
There's a lot of drama in it.
Right. It's a whole lot of drama in it. You know what I'm saying? Well,
I didn't see it.
So read it in its entirety. Right. And you know what? Real talk. And I tell y'all, no lie. I think because my kids they always come up with they do something different for their Black History project every year. Me, I cheated. I did Malcolm X every year, but they do something now like every different every year. Next year we're gonna do the Willie Lynch.
It's so powerful. You said for engineering or for reverse engineering. Like I challenge you to go ahead and take the Willie Lynch letter and screenshot it or whatnot. Download it to your phone, screenshot it, and just make it your screensaver. And that'll force you to whenever you look at your phone, it'll force you to read it. You don't have to sit down if it's gonna pain you to read the whole thing, right now or tonight. Just make it your screensaver and then read bits and pieces of it. And
I'm definitely doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Just do that, and it's funny because actually you'll be able to take the letter with you as you move through life, especially if you're of darker skin complexion, and you'll be able to see during barbecues or during work. You'll be able to see parts of that letter in your everyday experience.
You're gonna when you read it, you automatically. And here's the thing. All right, all y'all gangsters and,
Right,
and everybody hard and everybody just. If there's no way you can make it all the way through that letter without recognizing something, whether you've seen it or you know what I'm saying, been a part of it. And that's, I think, where some of us get afraid, or then we turn it off because then it's too real. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the dude that was at the club that you was talking to his chick and he ran up on you, he talking all this nonsense. Now you ready to kill him, but you can't make it through this letter because it hurt you too bad. But you can talk all this nonsense on social media. There's a lot of pain, in that letter. There's a lot of trauma, in that letter, and it does hurt. But at the same time, it's real. You gotta face your fears and be aware. Again, like say that for your screenshot. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. If y'all so hard and everybody's so woke and all this, just read the letter and make it through that. Now if you need somebody, with you, call somebody or get somebody like real talk, like make it through it, have a conversation about it. And if you get upset about it, ask yourself, why am I getting upset at this? Because it's real. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's definitely something that you could learn from, and you can share with others with the Willie Lynch letter. Y'all check it out.
Definitely. Now because I know somebody's going to ask this. Have you seen Get Out yet?
I have seen Get Out.
What'd you think?
I thought Get Out was a great movie with its social commentary. Me being an athlete, being in that position before, and me being warned about that position. It was actually from different angles. When they had the guy with TSA, he was a different angle. He was kind of like that person that we all know.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those.
He was that person he was that brother that we all know, or that parent that we've heard speak on.
Everybody think they talking crazy, but they talking something real.
Exactly, and so I thought Get Out was great to be able to show, and it made a lot of people uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? A lot like
as it should.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot like other movies I've seen that they kind of talk about that. And what surprises me is that a lot of non-black people go to those movies.
Yep.
And I always sit there and wonder, like, why are you here? Like, why? Like, you know it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They really,
that's a good question.
They do, you know what I'm saying? Roots. They bring out Roots. Starring Will Smith. There's gonna be a lot of white people there. It's like, this is about you, but yet you still coming to, you know what I'm saying? But that's just
that's a good question.
I just want to know. To me, it's just a question.
I'm gonna go and I want to ask. Hey, let me ask, why are you here? Have that conversation. Yeah. Because real talk. That's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you here? Are you here just for the entertainment, or
are you trying to change?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Are you here? You trying to figure out how to do it. Like figure it out. I think one of the things that I respect about the film is that it wasn't sort of this apologetic. We're gonna do this in the safe way to not offend. It wasn't afraid. It wasn't afraid to offend, or to be honest. Not necessarily not afraid to offend, but just afraid to be honest from that perspective. To whereas some other films may say, "Oh no, we can't show that like that. We can't do that. That may offend someone, or we can't. Art is art. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta respect. If we're gonna say respect everyone's opinion and whatever. Art is art at the end of the day. If that's not harming anyone, if that's not, physically harming someone, if we don't, and again, if this was a movie about the KKK and they made whatever they were going to make, if it's honest to them in that story or whatever, you can't do nothing but respect it. You don't have to like it, but you have to respect it's art. Right. But if they were to sort of twist it to say, oh, well, you can't do that because that wouldn't be right. No, tell the right story. So from that aspect, for them being real with it, to be honest and not afraid, I like that.
And I think that was, as us as filmmakers and content producers, it was good for us to see, kind of like glaring lights of honesty, maybe being able to, make its way onto the big screen because, for the longest time, especially being a black person, a lot of times the things we go through and the things we want to express, people disregard and they say, oh, well, that's not really how it is. That's not really how your black experience is. Yeah. Like, if a cop pulls you over, that's not really how you feel. They'll be like, yeah, that's how I feel. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to be able to see examples of, like, more honesty being put out there, on the big screen is very inspiring.
Did y'all see, because sometimes I watch movies from this aspect, I love horror movies. So between horror movies and maybe even action movies, I look at a scene sometimes, and I think it's going to go one way to be safe, and then it goes left. So did that happen? You know, for y'all, and y'all like, ooh, I didn't know they were going to go there.
I pretty much, when I was watching, I pretty much everything that came up, from watching the trailers, I pretty much pieced it
Okay,
together.
but you can know that this is going to be honest. It's not going to.
Yeah, now I
you know
was shocked by how, like you said, how honest the film director's point of view was, and how kind of like unafraid he was to attack certain certain issues when it came to race relations. How the white girlfriend tries to take up for the black boyfriend because he obviously isn't, strong enough, or he isn't like, he is always, you need help.
Right.
You can't do it on your own. And I like how they tackled that from that perspective when she got out, when the policeman came up and she's like, nobody fucks with my boy, whatever.
Or she wants to kind of tame him. She don't want him to get too irate or kind of, lose. He don't have no kind of self-control.
And it was very. I think people did that on purpose as far as keeping him very subdued. Like, you didn't really see him get upset or angry to the very end when he was trying to fight for his life.
Right, but you could tell, and I could be wrong. I sort of got the sense that, and based on some other films, I didn't get that feeling like, oh, he a punk. This is just a punk through the whole thing.
Yeah, that's because the guy was a good actor.
He was like real good at it.
But even in those moments of withdrawal, he still gave you elements of contemplation. So
I ain't no killer, but don't push me.
Yeah, but it was just like you could tell through his eyes and the way he was acting that he was he was smart. He made that character smart instead of just like a docile, like, he could have played that kind of like, oh, I don't really want to get it. But he gave off like, I'm kind of smarter than you. But I'm just going to play along with this and see how it go. And I thought that was clever on the director's part to play it like, I thought it was a smart way to play it. To get away from the angry black character.
Exactly.
And I think he was aware of that. And towards the end, it was funny because there was a moment when he was trying to get the keys, and he was just like, the character just went overboard. And I could tell like the director was like, okay, now's the time for you to get angry. But I thought that was a bit much because it was like,
drawn out.
That was the time I felt like he should have been more withdrawn, because it was like, wow.
I'm only gonna ask you one time.
All the smartness went out the window at that point. So I was like,
it was pushed, it was forced. Like
like, give me, like, I could, that was like the moment where everything kind of flipped and cracked him upside the head. It's like it justified him getting to the position where he was, so the audience kind of root for him to get out. I got the point of it, but it was just like, that was a moment as a director. I was like, okay, this is the moment where the director's pushing him, like, give us the angry, like, you fighting for your life, like, give it to us now.
You waiting too long, you know what I'm saying?
And as a content creator, you know what I'm saying, you definitely have your, I woulda, I shoulda, I coulda, if it was me, you know what I'm saying, type of, you know what I'm saying, opinions about it. But for the most part, we applaud it for at least getting to that point.
A lot of symbolism in it, though. Did you see the buck at the beginning when he hit the deer? That was like the symbolic of his mom. She had on the side of the road.
I didn't think about that.
And then the whole thing with Buck and slavery is like the young Buck, the young black
slave. Yeah, that part, I got that, but I didn't. With his mother, I didn't put that together.
It was a lot of similar with the oxygen.
That's why y'all geniuses, you know what I'm saying?
It was a deep movie. It just, but on the surface level, if you're not looking to go that deep, you're still able to appreciate it of just like the what they call them in the 70s, the Get Whitey movie. Like that's what they call them in the 70s, the blaxploitation movie. The Get Whitey movie. Yeah, Get Whitey.
Get Whitey.
The Return of Get Whitey.
So
that's what they called it.
First, for that aspect, and I think that should give people permission to be bold, to make a statement like that, a film or a song or whatever it is that you're creating, whatever it is that you want to say. Be honest, and be bold. Find that platform to do it. Find somebody with the financial backing or the right, correct dream.
Right.
But I also think that comes with a lot of work. But again, so that's that. So now let's talk about Huntsville. Because we right here in the Rocket City. Right. In the 256. In Hunts Vegas. I don't know why they call it Hunts Vegas, but we gonna call it Hunts Vegas.
Like that.
Right. Right, because there ain't nothing Vegas about it. So there's a lot of, I would say, frustration. I was gonna say anger, but I think frustration, and a lot of people don't like what's going on with either developments that's going on anywhere in Huntsville. You know, we could say north side, but it's west side as well, and I mean all over. You know, Madison, Harvest, all these different places. I seem to. The way I look at it is, again, it happens everywhere, and it's not just Huntsville. It just so happens that now it's, you know, happening here, and it happened 30 years ago, you know, here. But I look at it from the aspect of what were we doing to prevent it? You know, now that it's happening, didn't we know all along that this was happening? You know, and maybe we didn't. You know, maybe our parents knew because we were too busy chasing girls at school, you know, or skipping school, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Or maybe we didn't have parents in the home. But somebody had to know this is going to happen in 10, 20 years, you know, at this point. So I understand the frustration in the, oh, man, you know, this is going on. Call it whatever you want, you know, gentrification, or our neighborhoods are getting torn down, or we don't have any black businesses, or whatever. I get that frustration. But would it be correct to even ask that question, like, well, what did we do all these years leading up to it? You know, not what are we going to do? You know, I think about that crit song, what are we going to do now? Like, I get that, but, like, is it correct to kind of ask that without, you know, sounding like a, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, to me, you're asking the right questions. And, you know, I say some of the same things. I make some of the same remarks. I'll put it like this. I'll say it like this. You know, you bring up, you know, what are we doing now? What are we going to do now? Now that we see it, you said that, which a lot of us do. A lot of us do see it.
Because remember, and if you guys remember, because I know y'all movie buffs, you know, so I try to, you know, get y'all some of it. Y'all probably already know, but you're like, man, Tima, that's old. But I think about Con Air, and I always remember this with Sean Connery, and every time something happened, he was like, okay, well, now that you know, well, what are you going to do about it? You know, now that you're getting all this mad, forget getting mad and all this complaining that you're doing. Now that you know, what are you going to do about it? You know, so that's where, you know, so.
No, definitely, you know what I'm saying, what are you going to do about it? And like I said, I like to think of it this way whenever I talk to black people about, you know, doing something, is, okay, we all talk about slavery, you know, so, you know, if this was slavery time, you know, and we talk about slavery, we say, oh, I would have ran, you know, I couldn't be no slave my whole life, but you know why slavery moved and say, I don't see how they live like that. I would have been the first one off the, you know, that woman is shaving master's face every day. I would have been cut his throat. You know, all this what I would have did, what I would have been doing. But yet, if we look at ourselves in the times now, you know, we are, as you said, we are slaves, but we are aware. But yet nobody's still doing anything.
Ain't nobody.
So my thing is, if you're not doing anything now, you wouldn't have been doing anything back then. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the few people who did take off and take that chance and risk, there's still a few people now taking off and trying to make a difference and trying to see something. You know, but what I said before about, you know, building a house, sometimes you're gonna be alone trying to find that brick. You know what I'm saying? And you look around, it's not gonna be encouraging at all. You know, but you gotta like they did. You gotta understand that I see something and I'm fighting for something that will be appreciated later. And people
you brought up a real good point because. When you said that people act like we're not in, you know, slave times right now. You know, we immigrants, you know, according to somebody.
According to somebody.
Yeah, according to somebody.
Yeah.
But when you look at, right, we just took a vacation.
Yeah.
Decided to stay.
Yeah.
It was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So, but when you look at, you know, the first of all, when you look at just crime, you know, and just the way that not only we, but the value of a black life, whether it's what do we value, you know, as a black life, you know, because again, we shoot each other and kill each other over some nonsense.
Right.
And then the value of that somebody else has of a black life, whether it's a police officer taking that person's life, in the just or not, you know, because again, you can't say what you would do in that situation. You know, some of it is what it is, whether it was just or not.
Right.
And so we act, again, you know what I'm saying, we act like it's not going on. And we act like this, oh, we're not in slavery, or we're not in this, and we're not in that. Well, you're not going to do it, you didn't do anything about, you could say, oh, I would run off the plantation, you know, or I would do this, or I would do that, but you still live here, you still hadn't done nothing about the police shooting, you still haven't, you know, done anything. Yeah. You're talking about it.
You're comfortable with how you living, and that's how a lot of slaves feel. You know, I'm cool with this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, for me, when I think about that kind of comparison, that's what prompts me to do something. Because like I can't sit here and watch stuff from from our past, whether it be civil rights, movements and stuff like that, or even back to slavery. I can't, or Black Wall Street, being destroyed. I can't look back at that stuff and really in my heart be sympathetic if I'm not willing to transfer that energy into doing something now, out of respect for those.
Right.
And that's what we don't get. We don't get the transfer of. We showing y'all this slavery, and we're showing y'all these images of MLK to inspire y'all to do something now. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to look back at it and be like, oh yeah, I know that history. It's cool to know the history, but we're missing the inspiration part that's supposed to drive us to do something now. And I think that's very a profound point that we're not getting for some odd reason. And you also said something else. You said the killing and why we're not doing anything about this, and we talked about assimilation. We talk about all of us want to assimilate. That's a part of or assimilate, integrate. All of us want to do that.
Break that down for them, because that might be power.
Okay. Well, we go back to civil rights. A lot of people like to think we were fighting for separate but equal. But I would like to challenge and say some of us were fighting to be a part of. And just like a lot of us, if we had a choice between having a title African American and American, a lot of black folks just choose American. Yeah. Because we identify with that. We argue about the African part anyway.
Sometimes I check other on the
but
y'all see what I
right, exactly. But it's okay because every other race is doing the same thing. Asians who come over here, Indians who come over here, Hispanics. Everybody are coming over here not to be Hispanic Americans or Asian Americans. They coming over here to be Americans. Yeah. So it's okay to wanna assimilate and to wanna be a part of. But the danger for that I see is that we gotta fight for what we're assimilating into, and we're assimilating into a society that are still upholding some of the same things that Willie Lynch stood for. And the danger in that is whoever comes over here and assimilates into the same system are going to be taught that same thing. The Asians are going to be taught that black lives don't matter. The Hispanics is going to be taught that light-skinned black folks don't like dark-skinned black folks. And we see it when we're on the bus or we're in Walmart, and they kind of ask questions like, oh, well, what do you think about light-skinned people? Because they're trying to figure out, too, because this kind of narrative of Willie Lynch, old against young, light against dark. These things are a part of this system, and that's what we should be fighting to get rid of. And that's our part. Our part is to try to tear down Willie Lynch by not encouraging it. And that's what you were getting at when you said the young black brother kill another black brother. If we're not doing those things, then regardless of what the system says, it's not going to show up in real life. So as people assimilate, they're going to be like, well, that's not true. I've never seen another black person kill another black person. When have you seen an Asian kill another Asian? You know what I'm saying? Like we that's not something we see on a daily. So it's foreign to us. We don't encourage it. If we write material, we don't put it in the material because we don't see it. We don't hear about it. It's not told to us. We don't see it on TV. We don't hear about it in songs. So it doesn't exist. So if we want the whole nigga thing, we want the whole making of a slave. If we want to get rid of all that, we got to try to dig that out of our or what's the correct term? De-assimilate. We got to try to suck this kind of cancerous ideology out of the American psyche, and it's kind of stuck there, and they're shameful of it because they put it there, as a form of control. But the thing is, it's still stuck there. You know what I'm saying? So I think us teaching our kids about, we'll start off with Willie Lynch. You know what I'm saying? MLK is cool. Gandhi is cool, and all that stuff is cool. Yeah. But we got to start with the things that we can do to try to reverse some of the damages that has been done.
And bring up other ones. Again, a lot of times the reason why they bring up Martin Luther King all the time this is because it's still going on. But at the same time, like you said, let's do some alternatives. Let's teach the children about, and again, for us as well, educate ourselves and our kids on the Willie Lynch letter. Go back, talk about it, have a conversation. Invite some folks over for Taco Tuesday. Everybody come over Taco Tuesday. This is what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to invite some white folks over. I'm going to invite everybody over. Let's talk about this. And then another night, let's talk about Mansa Musa. Let's talk about, some kings and queens. And let's talk about different, ways of thinking and different things that we could talk about.
Right.
one thing that, and I don't know if anybody else is gonna find this funny. I find it hilarious, but I remember this comedian, and he was talking about. Well, okay, I'll say this. Gotta set it up the right way. Make sure I'm good. All right. So I think a lot of times the things that we want people to fight for us, for our rights, black awareness, Black Lives Matter, so on and so forth. However, I think one of the things that I do see is we don't fight for other people's rights. So whether that be the LBGT community, whether that be for abortion rights, you know what I'm saying?
The natives,
natives. We don't fight for some of these other causes.
Right.
And then we wonder why nobody's coming, fighting with us. But the joke goes, so the guy said, he said, man, the LBGT community done got more done for themselves than black folks done, and they get all these laws passed, and they get this passed, and they get these laws passed that you can't say this word, or you can't say this term, and things like that. So he made the joke that he's like, the only way you're gonna get rid of the N word is get the LBGT to get rid of it. Because otherwise, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a bad joke. You know,
we like the N word. I mean, I like using nigga.
Yeah.
Not like in a derogatory, like I'm not down to nobody.
Right.
But it's a part of culturally. It's a part of our.
And I don't see why people can't get that.
But and this is kind of where I have to interject, because I just want to say this before we go into, because these are truths. We do use the N word. Right. And it's become a part of culture. And when I talk about Willie Lynch, I talk about the negative, because nothing in that letter is positive. We're talking about a negative brainwashing. Right. Now, as survivors, we have find out ways to deal with that negative brainwashing. Right? So in certain areas of the United States, I ain't gonna call out no cities, but killing another black person is culture. It's culture. It's really nothing. It's really nothing wrong with it. Not telling the police about our issues is culture. In certain areas of certain ways we deal with this. Right. It's, So the LGBT community has not been brainwashed negatively. You know what I'm saying? So they have a different dynamic as far as getting things done. A lot of times with us is we fight against ourselves in order to get things done. So when you can't get together yourself, you powerless.
You can't get right.
Powerless.
And the thing is,
stand.
I want people to, because just what Duran said earlier is that, and I don't know why people don't get this. And the only thing, it's a different. I don't see why people don't get the difference between when someone's. They say, okay, well, why do you say it to each other, but this person can't say it, or I can't say it, or
because it ain't the same connotation.
It's not the same connotation. It's not the same context.
And
you got nigga and then nigger.
Two
completely different things.
We go back to the source. You go back to the source of Willie Lynch, where it came from.
Exactly.
And because you don't have that, you're not a part of that historical brainwashing. You're not using it to cope. You're using it either to be derogatory or mock,
which is more or less 9 times out of 10 the mock.
Exactly. So we have a lot of coping mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? That has come from their brainwashing. And for me, when we talk about African Americans, and are we Americans? Are we African Americans? People who can connect to that, I feel like you are a part of a certain group of people over here. Now, if you don't, you say, i.e., maybe a kid that's, maybe like Obama. You know what I'm saying? If he had a different background, he may not need to use the N word to cope. You know, because based on his background, he may not connect fully back to that kind of, to that issue. But for us who watch, fire hoses get put on people and we get angry, and we don't know them people. Right. If you get angry, if you connect back to slavery, if you can watch a slavery movie and then you gotta walk out because it's bothering you that much, and you leaving mad and your blood boiling.
And also going back to what you were saying, like a lot of, I don't know if that argument really stands as far as like the LGBT thing, because a lot of issues right now is a black culture or whatever, are economic. Those are not. I mean, we passed like LGBT we was doing in the '60s as far as like trying to gain rights. Like black folks is past that. We got the right to vote, even though they try to restrict it, and we still have it. Right. So now it's to the point where like we on a whole different, like we enter into a whole different ball game as far as like what's next. And I think that's really affecting how we moving, because how do you attack economics? Like how can you assimilate to attack that without any legislation? And I think a lot of people argue that's what got MLK killed when he started trying to attack. It was in Memphis. He was trying to give the people raises as far as wage, and he was getting ready to take this whole civil rights thing.
They actually did a story about that.
Yeah.
About, people that were assassinated right before, if you looked at, they started getting into
politics and economics. Yeah, because I mean that's really the crux of this whole, like, we can go in circles as far as like talking about how to fix it, but at the core of it, it's all economic. And so LGBT can get, transgender rights, all that stuff is cool. But at the same time, as far as black people go, like, our problems stem way deeper than somebody having gender reassignment surgery. Like, can't nobody turn white. Like, you can't get rid of your economic situation by going through a surgery. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, when people try to compare LGBT and women's rights to it's not the same. Like, as a woman, as a black woman, you still get more economic privilege than, say, a black man. Like, it's easier to be assimilated to culture than it is for a black man. So as far as women's rights, LGBT rights, Native American, all that stuff is cool for us to, get behind and support. But our problems as black people run way deeper than, and not to say it's more important, not to say that, not saying that we're more important or our problems are more important, but it's just different situations. It's a completely different bracket. You're talking about systematic and generational economic situations that are slowly gaining ground. But, when somebody comes and they're talking about having a black district as far as economic goes, but you move to a white side of town, I can't take you serious. Right. Because you spend it, even though you're telling me you spend your money at black businesses, you're not driving to no black gas station on the north side of town. You're going to start right there at that Waffle Hole on the white side of town you at. So it's like, the debates and stuff we have, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it's silly, but to say that we need to build and we all need to get behind this whole, which I would be down for, get behind this black, movement of business. It's gonna take sacrifices, and it's gonna take people actually making choices. If you have a choice, you got a good job on the Arsenal, and you have a choice to move from a black side of town to a predominantly white side of town. What would you choose? I think those moments are the moments that we need to be talking about as a culture. Do you have the right to? Yeah. You worked hard enough. You work your ass off.
Look at the long term.
Exactly. And if you're okay with that, let's just take responsibility for that. Let's not try to curve it and do this boomerang back
to the school. They got the gas station down.
or just boomerang it back down to something that ain't got nothing to do with it. Like, we try to offshoot stuff back to the 60s, or just like off topic. But it's like, if we're gonna decide to, like we were talking about earlier, assimilate into American culture, take responsibility for us giving up certain aspects of our culture and be okay with it. Be able to look at yourself and tell somebody else, I'm okay with giving that up. I mean, that's at the end of the day where we get with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or I'm okay with looking at black issues and then looking the other way.
Or not even looking the other way, but
it is though, because the thing is, for me, I'm a very one for one. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm an even and balanced person. So my thing is, because me and some people have talked about, people make sacrifices, but yet and still the majority benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, those people who make those sacrifices, they're not doing it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, they make those sacrifices for others to benefit. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, MLK, was making sacrifices not for his family in general, but for people, for us. You know what I'm saying? For it, so it does run deeper. It runs deeper. You know what I'm saying? So if you are, and it's everybody's responsibility to do something. If you don't try to do something, and you're in a position to, like Duran said, as you assimilate, if you make a decision to turn the other way, you know what I'm saying, and not try to do something, at least to try to help the cause, then I feel like, in a way, you have detached yourself from that.
And a lot of people can't be that honest with themselves.
Well, a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people hate to be that black.
And they are being honest by doing it. Yeah. But at least say it out loud to yourself.
I mean, it's very real. Like, a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? I've been in rooms with people. You know what I'm saying? Like family and friends and people who are close to me, and you sit down and we watch something about the past, let's say civil rights and integration and how people fought to get black schools and XYZ. But yet you and all your kids go to white schools. You know what I'm saying? And as we look at each other, a lot of times it's hard for us to watch that material because we see how we have assimilated and we see how we have accepted certain things. And so it's like it's hard to kind of put up that fake, man, we should do more about this. Yeah. But yet everything about your life says you don't care. You see what I'm saying? It has to be some feet to pavement. Yeah. Somewhere along the road. You ain't gonna be able to do everything, but it's got to be some feet to pavement along the road. Whether it's I choose to live in my community, or I choose to move back to my community and try to get active. You know what I'm saying? To try to be an example, not just
or
for my
I'm
own.
moving to a predominantly white neighborhood, but I'm putting resources back to the community I came from.
Exactly.
Right.
You got to be doing. You got to have some kind of feet.
As long as it's something, you know what I'm saying?
Like I say, I'm not the type of person who believe like everybody just got to stay in the hood if you're making X amount. I mean, you move where you want to and you work hard to get what you want. Right. But at the same time, like pull back, like pull the resources back. Kids need internship opportunities. You working on the arsenal, let them job shadow you. Go up to the schools and be like, hey, if y'all need students to come up and get exposed to stuff, like we can get them in. Put that extra foot forward. Yeah, that's all it takes. Because
speaking of internships, Marcus Sims up in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, I got two Isabel brothers in the house.
It's just as much as their responsibility. Black people at the top, there is black people at the bottom who not doing nothing and who's kind of wallowing in that despair, and you still not doing anything. From the mom from the family that ain't got nothing, you got to do something. And from the family that has it all, you still got to do something. So it's everybody's job.
So y'all, you got to do something. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to thank you guys for stopping
cool,
by.
Man. It's been nothing but love. Appreciate like family. Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys got a mic. Anytime you guys want to talk about something, y'all know it is what it is. We family. We got a mic. It's all good, man. Appreciate you guys. And if you guys are listening, watching live, thank you guys for watching. Drop your comments in there. This is In Tune with T-Mill. This is another episode. We're talking with the Isabel brothers, talking about black awareness. No, this will not be the last episode, and we are out.
All right. Man. Hey, man. That's good right there, man. You got me pumped up, man.
And when you come on episode 8 of...
I'm coming, big dog.
I'm seeing false advertising. I'm seeing you up in there posing.
You got false advertising? Hey, y'all want to water
everywhere? This ain't the Dwight Pope show. Like, I'm looking for my homie.
Facebook Live. Appreciate y'all watching, man. In Tune with T-Mill. Isabel Brothers. Appreciate it.
So you coming up.